Good morning, everybody. How are you today? Hopefully you're up and about. All right, so I just wanted to take this time to thank Areta Tupola for inviting me to speak in this beautiful event today. So my name is Crystal To'oa Ailelia Aletu Fanua Atamali'i. Ripley Ainu'u Stephanie. I say my name with pride and with proudness because in our heritage it represents who we are and where we come from. I was born in California, Bellflower, and raised in American Samoa. My family is from the villages of Nu'uli, Pangopango, Ofumanua, Sapali'i Sava'i, and Leififi, and Saitlele, American Samoa. I am one of the co-owners of Good Times NutriFet in West Jordan, and my mother and her sisters are the actual owners of the club. I help run it. Our club is genuine, real, and our mission is to empower everyone that comes to our club to be at their best physically and psychologically. It exists to be a sanctuary, a place of refuge from everyday chaos of life to a me time to rewind and to relax and to exercise, to come and have their stresses being worked out at the club. Our policy is to welcome everyone lovingly and give them a chance to exercise and have fun. Since we began the fitness club, we have helped over 200 women, Polynesian women, with their weight loss journey and building confidence in themselves. What I'd like to share with you today are the women who empowered me and made me who I am, and how Good Times NutriFit came to be. I'd like to go back into the 1950s, where my grandmother Falafetuani Fileti Thompson Ainu'u was a widow by the time she was 25 years old. Her husband died from a boxing accident, leaving her with 4 children. Altogether, they had 6. The firstborn and the youngest child died stillborn. Due to the tragic events in her life, it prompted her to move back to American Samoa, where her mother and father lived. A few years later, she and her children sailed across the sea to California, USA. She vowed never to remarry, and it could have been because of the impact that she experienced growing up. She grew up in Ofumanua with her father. Her parents were divorced, where her mother took their son, Tom Thompson, to be with her, and she stayed with her father in Ofumanua. She took care of 14 siblings, and since my great-grandfather, he loved to get married, he had 3 other wives, and so she helped take care of the wives and 14 children. When she turned 18, she married the love of her life and sailed away to Leififi, Samoa from Ofumanua. So she vowed to never remarry after her husband died. And when they arrived to California, here is this light-skinned, lovely young lady who didn't know how to speak English, who spoke Samoan fluent, and she had a hard time adjusting to the Carson, California lifestyle at the time. So her brother, Tom Thompson, who was in the Navy at the time, helped her with basic English phrases. A few months later, she found a job at a research lab near Carson, California. The job was important because she was the dishwasher who washed all of the petri dishes, the glassware, the pipettes for the experiments performed in that lab. Everything had to be perfect, and she did an exceptional job at making sure that everything was made clean, sparkling clean, and sanitized. During the night, she was a musician in our family dance review, where her cousin, who she calls brother, Chief Lei Mapolosenga, and wife Pinola Fonua Mapolosenga, were the owners of the dance group. There, her children, cousins, Antinola's nieces, and nephews performed nationwide. Their dance review was called Sounds of Polynesia. That's how they got food on their table and a roof over their head. While my mother's siblings and family were performing nationwide, she stayed home to care for her grandparents, continued her education. She would be the first in our family to graduate with honors from the University of California, Irvine, with a degree in biology. She vowed to care for her family as she went on with her career in the lab with the Kaiser hospitals. Mom specialized in hematology, microbiology, pathology, cytology, and blood banking. And it was through this career that she was able to be a homeowner at the age of 26. Purchased real estate, provided for her grandparents, mom and siblings, and also had some side businesses. My grandmother instilled in her children to never forget where they come from. The true Fatsamoa. Always remember who we are and where we come from. Excuse me. So, she was a talented young lady. She loved to weave fine mats and baskets. She helped the young men in the Ainu'u on Sundays, cooking food, making sure that the food was available for all of her relatives for our Sunday tonai, or feast. Just like her children took on her traits. Auntie Ve'a, who is my mother's sister, is a jack of all trades, just like her mom, my grandmother. Her sister Sina is just like her mom, as she's very blunt. Her brother Laipo was the most athletic in the family and a musician like his mom. And my mom, of course, the brain of the family. So in 2016, during the summer months, my Aunt Sina, my mom's sister, acquired a nutrition club from her niece Mariana Limutao Filo. Nana, as we called her in our family, asked for my aunt to take over these obligations as she had some family obligations that she had to deal with. And so we literally started from nothing. When we first started, she asked me for a few months in 2016 if I wanted to come and participate in this nutrition club. And I kept telling her no. It wasn't something that I wanted to do at the time. So every day she would come and ask me and say, Chris, I really want you to come and see this dance fitness. I think you'll like it. I think you'll like to run it for me. And I said no. So I just wanted to rewind a little bit and talk a little bit about myself and why I was able to run this business. In 2009, my ex-husband and I were having marital problems. I just wasn't ready to continue on because I knew I couldn't be the wife that he deserved. I was just going through so much stress, anxiety, and depression, and I couldn't understand what was going on with me, as I thought that in my early 30s I would have it together. And as I tried to be in this marriage, I was just not in the right frame of mind at the time. As 2010 approached, quickly I decided to move back to Las Vegas, Nevada, and to move in with my parents. It was there where I began my journey of healing. First, I had to forgive myself and my flaws. Second, I had to be content with myself, because a lot of us women, a lot of us look in the mirror and we think sometimes we're not good enough. And we compare ourselves to others. And being in Las Vegas, it's about the image. It's not so much about your inner beauty. A lot of people was about the image. And so I had to literally take that all out and start from scratch. So when I moved back to Las Vegas, I spent a whole entire month being depressed. And it was my brother who actually inspired me. He helped me. He talked to me. He gave me great advice. This is my baby brother. And invited me to come to run with him. I never ran in my whole entire life. And so I took up on that offer one day and went with him to the park. As I walked, I saw my brother run his miles as if it were nothing, and I was truly inspired to run. So I started to walk every single day. From walking, I ended up jogging, and then I ended up consistently running. Then I decided that it was time for me to challenge myself and do a 3.1 marathon run. I've never ran a marathon or a 3.1 mile in my life, but I decided that this is something that I wanted to do as a challenge to myself to see what I could do. My very first time, it took me 45 whole minutes to run this 3.1 mile, where it took my brother 25 minutes to run the 3.1 mile. So I kept on signing up for each challenge. As many 3.1 mile challenges that there were in Las Vegas, I signed up, and finally, after my 4th challenge, I was able to shave off 10 minutes and run 35 minutes. That's an accomplishment to me. As time went on, I quit my job of 15 years, and I also quit college. I wanted to become an anesthesiologist, and I wasn't passionate about it. At the time, I was so married to my job, married to my career, and I knew that that wasn't something that I wanted to do, as I was missing out on a lot of family events, on family functions, spending time with my parents, spending time with my friends, and I felt like I was missing out on the family life. So I told my parents that I was going to quit school. My mom wasn't as frustrated as I thought she would be, and she said, "That's good. You need to see what you could do with your life that you're passionate about." So while working at the blood bank, I had a man, when I first started, who said that I would never amount to anything. He said that I would never be able to progress in the blood banking industry. And it really, really kind of hurt me, because I was thinking, wow, He doesn't know me from Adam. He doesn't know my background. He doesn't know my history. And for you to say something like that, I wanted to prove him wrong. So I started out as a donor technician, ended up being a supervisor, an assistant supervisor, to becoming the apheresis trainer, then moved over to the quality assurance department, and to becoming the lab administrator for the blood banking of United Blood Services. I made sure I knew the CDC guidelines, the OSHA guidelines, the HR guidelines, the FDA regulations, because I took so much pride in my job, and I wanted to show these people that I had a brain and that I was intelligent enough. As a lab administrator, I was the person that sent out letters to those that tested positive for hepatitis A, B, C, quarantined the blood products, and then also any viruses that will compromise patients in the hospital. So I'd bring them in, retest them to make sure that these tests were actually positive. If it were a false positive, then they were good to go. So again, as much as I didn't want to quit the job, I decided that it was time. And I wanted to give back to our Polynesian community, as I've seen so many people struggle with depression, mental illness, and also with weight. So a group of Polynesian women in Las Vegas and we committed to doing stuff for ourselves. The first thing that we wanted to do was the half a marathon in November of 2011. We worked and trained hard from November of 2010 to November of 2010 to where we completed our 13.1 marathon. We would join many fitness events. We Zumba'd, did cycling, kickboxing at UFC, and took hot hula classes. When Anna Rita Sloss, the creator of hot hula, came to Las Vegas in 2010, we were super excited, as this fitness format was something actually that I was really passionate about, as I loved Tahitian dancing. As a child growing up, Tahitian had always been my passion. I danced with my family group, and then also for a Tahitian group in Las Vegas. And so I thought, wow, this would be an opportunity to share my talents and my love for my culture to people in Las Vegas. So a group of us, the same group of ladies, the 10 of us, we decided to drive down to California and train for this hot hula fitness certification. It had been one of the most inspiring days of my life, as seeing a lot of women of our culture, Polynesian women, wanting to become instructors to help teach their fitness format to the world. So when we came back, I was hired on with Body Sports Fitness. It was my very first instructor job. I had no clue what I was doing, but Mel and Eve trusted me with my classes. I started classes with just one person, which was the owner of the club, to 2 people, to 3 people, to 4 people, eventually 20 people. Then I was hired on with the McLeod Recreational Center, and that performed teaching, instructing hot hula fitness. And then eventually I got hired on with Gold's Gym, doing 2 locations in Henderson and Green Valley. We Polynesian women in Las Vegas, we performed at so many Polynesian events there. We took our hot hula fitness and wanted to share it with everyone in Las Vegas. And it was such It was such a good time with us as we had so much fun, laughter, and then inspiring other women to want to not just do hot hula, but to also work out. I don't know if you can relate with me, but my mom, my grandmother, actually, suffered from diabetes, suffered from heart disease, and had a failing kidney. My dad had hepatitis C. Actually, my mom is quite healthy, as she is a health freak. But I learned so much from my father and my grandmother. Every morning, my grandmother would wake up, take her shots for her insulin, and she had so many pills that she had to take. It was like, it baffled me that that's what she had to do to keep herself alive. And I told myself that it would be my duty to promote health and fitness to our people. Along the way, seeing resources upon resources that our Polynesian people are amongst the top 10 highest or the most obese people in the world. That's not who we are. We are people of mana. We are navigators of the sea. And I didn't want people to know us for being the most obese people in the world. So my journey came here to Utah in 2012. I one day just told my parents that it was time for me to leave. And I just picked up, packed my car, and drove straight to Utah County. There I met a lot of beautiful young ladies, and I was also introduced to EMZ with Sinai Pauni's Zumba crew, and it inspired me in so many ways, because as you can remember, if you were one of them that were going to early morning Zumba with EMZ, it would be super packed, almost about 100 people. And the look and the smiles and the happiness of how our people love to dance inspired me to try and do the same. So, a cousin of mine, Laverne Solberg, we created the group Amp It Up in Orem. And we held our fitness at the Orem 11 Chapel. There we had Ula Reed Ikahihifo, Alisa Mateaki, and Tanya Toievao share their talents in Utah County. It would be at this very chapel where I began the very first weight loss challenge with a lot of the women from Orem, from Utah County. I instructed and subbed fitness classes at Provo Rec Center and American Fork. Later on in 2015, I had to move to Salt Lake City, and it was unfortunate as I didn't want to move, but I had to because that's where my job took me. So back to the nutrition club. My aunt was persistent in getting me involved as she knew my experience in the fitness industry and my health background and the successes with the weight loss challenges that I've held in the past. And what do you know? After a few months, I caved in. We had no money to start this business. However, we had passion, willpower, determination to make it a success. Our building was only a capacity of 15 people, and yet we saw double that. There were like 30 people that would come to our fitness nights. We knew it wouldn't last a while, so my aunt Vea, my mom's other sister, the jack of all trades, she began to look for bigger locations and found the location near Paris Polynesian Market. We ended up calling the new facility Tropical Nutrition in Taylorsville. In 2017, we saw an increase of 30 people to about 40 people max every single day. They'd come in morning and night. We saw and developed some of our women's dance talents, and they went and got certified for Zumba and became our instructors. Later on, in 2018, my mom moved here from Las Vegas, and we decided to open a sister club, and that is where Good Times NutriFit is born. Mom, Auntie Vea, and myself used up all of our savings to help get this business intact. The ladies purchased the laminate wood floorings and installed it themselves. We had our uncles Freddie, Uncle Toa, Uncle T help install our mirrors, help with painting the building, making sure that the counter that we had in the back was safe and usable for our nutrition and to where we would have our cash register. For a whole 3 months, since it opened in November 2018, we saw one person, and that was our Zumba instructor, Leka. Day and night we'd work out, go live on Facebook or on Instagram. Then 1 became 2, 2 became 3, 3 became 4, and so forth. We have connected with so many ladies of all ages and developed their confidence, happiness, focusing on themselves for the hour, and then would talk for hours about our culture, religion, genealogy, and I especially love seeing the body transformations of these young ladies and the challenges. A lot of these young ladies are shy, and so some of them are over 400 pounds, 300 pounds, and when they join our challenges, it's such an amazing transformation to see them losing over 100 pounds within a year or 2 years course of time. We built many friendships and sisterhood and a connection with our Polynesian people. In 2017, we held our first annual gala to celebrate all of our patrons and to showcase their transformation. We danced, laughed the night away with these wonderful people, gave awards out, announced the winners for the challenge, had them dress up in glitz and glamour. And we've continued these events each year except for this year due to COVID-19. So it is very important to me to let women, our Polynesian women, know that no matter what body type you are, especially me because I don't look like a fitness instructor, I just wanted to share with the world or with these women that they could do whatever it is that they put their mind to, regardless of whether they're big or small. And I wanted them to have that confidence. And just seeing everybody thrive and blossom, and them wanting to come up on our stage at Good Times to do a number or to do a fitness routine, it really just puts a smile on my face. Really, it's about empowering our women, our Polynesian women. We need to come together. It's about seeing positive things about them. Like, oh wow, you did this. Your routine that you did tonight was super amazing. Can you do it again? You're good at fitness, or you're good at talking, or you're good at whatever their talents are. We need to let them know. We are people of mana, navigators of the ocean. We are natural healers. I believe in the natural medicine. I suffer from PCOS and I have asthma. And the doctors told me that I would be on diabetes medication. And she asked me if that's something that I wanted to do, and I asked her if there were other options that I could take because I didn't believe in taking the medicines because of the side effects. And she said, well, you can do it naturally, but it's going to be 10 times harder. So I'm still on this journey of trying to fight against PCOS and trying to stay on the healthy. You know, as us Polynesian women, we love to eat our Polynesian foods. But my mom is a true warrior in this health industry, as she is a health geek. Anything that's healthy and nutrients that she helps to help with her body and her immune system, she will take. She's taught me to learn how to be satisfied with the healthy foods and not so much with the unhealthy foods. So that's who we are. Good Times NutriFit is genuine. We're real. Our club has a mission behind it that is empowering everyone that comes to be their best, physically and psychologically. Our club exists to be a sanctuary, a place of refuge for everyday chaos of life to a me time. Our policy is to welcome everyone lovingly and give them the chance to exercise, focus on their goals, and to come and have fun at our club. And this is who we are. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.